don't study English. Try to speak English. There is an interesting thing that I'm going to tell you in this video that if you can't study and you just try to speak English, how you can become more faster than just studying English. And probably you are a bit confused because probably you confused that what does it mean by studying English? What does it mean by speaking English? And you have a question that how we can speak English without studying English. Isn't it that maybe you've been thinking? It's totally alright. So let me clear whenever you are studying English in the beginning, you are learning grammar most of cases, right? But when you're speaking English, you're directly learning phrases to speak. So there is one thing I would like to add for you is it like don't try to learn word by word. You have a list of words you're going to try to learn those thing kind of those kind of calories. It can not be useful. I am not telling you that it could be completely useless. It can be useful a bit because you are going to remember for just a specific time, not for a longer time. So remember, we have a two kind of memory: a short-term and long-term memory. And do you know what is the differences? As I have heard, short-term memory is like whenever you're learning a list of vocabulary word, 20, 10 word you studied, it can go directly for your for your short-term memory. So when a list of vocabulary word you learn, it go to short-term vocabulary, and if you can't remember, if you can't repeat those 20 or 10 word for two times a week or like eight times a month, then it can be easily, you will easily forget them. Easily you will be started to forgetting. So why? Because our mind really dislike things that we don't use. So our mind is really interested only for useful things. So remember, our mind is like same. Most of time, mostly people like to waste time, but our mind really don't like wasting things. Are things that we don't use. So this is a really interesting thing that I'm going to tell you. When you are going to study word by word, it can be a bit complicated because you have to remember six, seven, eight times the same thing you have to repeat every month. Every week, second week, third week, fourth week. So in a month, right? But beside this, if you're going to learn phrases, it can be more easy for you because if you're a beginner and learning, how are you? I'm fine. How have you been? What have you been doing? And what will be happening tomorrow? And where we are going tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So in that way, you are going to understand. If you're a really beginner and if you don't know how to remember them, so what happened? There is one simple tip. When we have a word how are you and what you've been doing, so if we don't understand, a kid or a beginner try to read thrice, four times, five times you have to read to see them. After them, try to avoid seeing, just try to say in your mind this, how you been doing, how you been doing. So repetition will help you a lot. So repetition five times to see, five times without that. Until that you have to repeat that your mind easily understand that it was without seeing that paper you are able to speak that. The third thing you are going to try to speak with you even recording your mobile or just talking with a mirror. But I think everyone has a mobile nowadays. You can record and listen back to that. It can 100% help you to remember them. This is a thing that we have added. Let's try to go back to our topic that we are going to talk about. Secondly, that try to speak, don't study. So I mean, if you're a beginner and you're directly going to start learning grammar like tenses, it can be a bit tricky because even you don't know how to talk with someone correctly, you don't know how to speak correctly. In that way, you have to at least learn some phrases like how are you? Oh, I am fine. Learn phrases with answers, right? For example, what are you going to do today? Oh, I am not going to do anything. I am just sitting around. I'm just watching movies. You can write different answers. to try to practice in that way. Just take one question. It can be normal question. If you have a question, how are you, try to give different ways. Oh, I am great. Oh, I am doing well. Oh, I am pretty well. I am fit as a fiddle. So you have a different answers of the same question. Now you took a question and given different answers. Now try to repeat this question with different way. Oh, how are you? How are you doing? What's up? So try to learn different way to ask and learn different way to say. Like, if you have a question, try to understand how to say this same question in a different ways, and how to say this question's answer in different way. Like synonyms, learning in different ways makes your speaking much better. If we are going to try to say every day like I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, that's not interesting. Oh, how are you? I'm fine. Oh, how are you? I'm fine. That's not really interesting. Isn't it true? So in that way, I'm just trying to remind you, this is the first thing that you're going to do. So try to understand at least 100 common word. Very soon I am going to start a series I am going to mention in this video, but I am going to create a separate series, a separate introduction video, that 30 days English speaking challenge. And in that video, in that series, you are going to speak 100% speaking. It is my guarantee if you are a beginner. So furthermore, I would like to add for you the same things, that if you're going to study at beginning only grammar, then how do you speak? It's better to just try to learn phrases, speak to each other, speak with your family member, speak your friend. Like, oh, how are you, brother? I'm good. And how are you today? Oh, I am doing awesome. And what's up, bro? What are you doing? So try to ask in a different way too, right? This is a basically thing that I have been mentioning to you. So normally I have mean that you don't need to be studying a lot grammar in the beginning, because later on you can do that. Try to learn in an entertain way and entertain yourself. Like, if you are trying to learn English, you can try to use phrases, or otherwise you can watch, try to watch like also such kind of series, such kind of conversation, that cartoons or anything else, the people are talking. Like, I have seen nowadays a lot of videos on YouTube. So what they have two cartoons, like they're asking, oh, how are you, buddy? I am doing well. And what are you doing today? Are you going out today? Can we eat tomorrow? And do we have a weekend plan? So there are different kind of videos, and they have really slow speaking, and they have good conversations, and it might help you a lot, I hope. So watching this kind of series can help you a lot. I have I have always seen, and I have always believed that if you are a good listener, you are always a better speaker. So try to listen a lot and watch a lot, so your brain can understand that exactly what is behind. Because if you understand what someone is speaking, you'll be able to answer. If you don't know, if you don't have a good understanding, good listening, so how you can give response? Isn't it matter? This is what one of the best thing that I would like to mention you in this video. I hope you are going to follow this step. And the conclusion, I'm going to summarize that: simply don't try to study English. Learn phrases, that whatever you have a phrases, how are you, whatever, and in that way learn synonym of them. Just don't try to learn one by one word. Like, avoid learning words like word list, as I told you. And after then you have to don't worry about learning list and remembering them, because it can be go to short term and long term. So we talked about short term and long term memory. I hope you understand that also. So that's what I think we talked. And in the end, lastly, I mentioned you our 30 days English speaking series that we are going to start. That's all we included in this video, and you are going to get to enjoy, I hope. If you have been watching this video, and I'm really thankful for that you've been watching, and I really love you guys, and try to subscribe us for getting more videos. I need really your support. It's 100% free. Try to subscribe and like our channel. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in our next video. Take care.